Happy Monday. Today on TT's Clubhouse, we got somebody pretty cool. I am very excited to catch up with him. So please join us in welcoming Carter Loewen.
What up, T? Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah, man. What up?
How you doing?
I just got a text from my son, my 11-year-old.
Dude, yeah. Do what you need to do. I know last time we talked, we were in Lake E, and I think I was driving back. I drove from Texas to you, pick up my stuff, and then I drove from there to Canada. So I think that was the last time we talked.
Bro, 2 years now of kind of like being in your journey. And in my personal space, like I'm so thankful to be around you guys, and in your world, you and I kind of relate in so many different ways outside of baseball. And that's something that like I'm thankful for as far as our connection and your vibe and your energy that you have. And I know that was the first thing that I gravitated towards with you when we first met. So I don't know, Carter, you're just a good person, man. I'm thankful for your time, and I'm excited to catch up, man, because we haven't talked in a long time.
I know. And like when I was in Lake E, like I got so used to like having you there for me, and like we would chit chat after games or whatever. And when you have a connection with like that with somebody, it makes it a lot of fun, and it makes it enjoyable to be around those people. So I'm glad I can talk here and we can catch up.
Cool. Last year we first met. I mean, you were on a rehab assignment, right?
Yeah, I was on rehab assignment. I had TJ. Got released from Arizona, and then I came to Lake E, and that was the first time that I met you. And we were talking about this before, and it was a group chat with like you, Marty, or I don't know if Marty's in there. It was Marcy, Paulie, and everyone. And I think I just like your energy. The first thing I saved your name as on my phone was like Terrence with like 6 exclamation marks, because I was like, this is the energy that this guy brings. And then I met you in the clubhouse. I'm like, yeah, I love this vibe. This is good. And then it's no wonder like Lake E won the championship that year. So,
Bro, you came to us in Lake Elsinore, and for me, like your presence was bigger than like your time. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Like you only pitched what? How many? Couple innings? You said.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 1/3, something like that.
You only pitched a couple innings, but for some reason, like the minute you got to like the complex or the stadium, it was like everybody knew you were there. In a
Well, I mean,
way,
no, go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
no, please tell me because I know I want to hear from your.
Well, like going through rehab, I looked at the guys who I got to be around a lot of guys who had a lot of years in the system. So like Jordan Guerrero, Chris Lincoln, 2019 guy. Me and Jagger, we were drafted in the same year, and I learned a lot from those guys. And then me and Shug, Jordan Guerrero, got sent to Lake E together, and we were roommates, and we learned a lot from each other during that time.
So like that makes more sense for me because like those guys that you mentioned, like I get a chance to cross paths in their career and their journey as well. And Shug is one of those guys who is older, and you still talk to him a little bit.
Yeah, we say what's up. I mean, he even hits me up. He hit me up the other day. He's like, "Hey, I'm looking at buying a gaming PC. Like, what do you think?" Like, I'm a nerd like that. Like, I'm into that, and he knows that, and so he'll hit me up with those types of questions. But yeah, we talk about baseball and how he's doing, and he's still grinding away. So,
He's doing
I
his
miss him.
thing.
Yeah, doing his thing.
That's awesome. I gotta shout out. Hey, Shug, shout out. This is on Instagram, so I'm sure we follow each other. I hope. And you can watch this live on Instagram now. So shout out Shug, man. Damn, Shug.
Yeah, for real.
So we had a short-lived season last season with your time with Lake Elsinore. But I remember us talking about connections and vibes. One of the things that you like to do is look at stars.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as again, I'm kind of nerdy like that. I like gaming stuff, PC stuff. I'm into that, and like the stars. I don't know. It sounds so innocent to me. I don't know. It's weird, but like during my rehab, I needed something. I needed a hobby basically, and as ridiculous as this sounds, I watched Interstellar one night, and I was like, dang, this would be cool to like see if I can see anything in the sky at night. And so I went outside my backyard, and I had like the perfect backyard for it. I'm like, maybe there's something to this. And so took my camera out one night, and then like I just spent a few hours outside, and I was like, yeah, this is really peaceful. Like I can like not think about baseball, not think about how my rehab's going. I can just be by myself and get away from everything. And so that's why kind of I do it and why I enjoy it so much. And kind of transformed into me, buying a telescope and spending quite a bit of money in order to improve my photos. But it's something that I'm really passionate about. It's something it's like it's my favorite, best hobby.
Damn, for real?
Yeah, like I try to every time there's like a clear sky out in Canada, I say to my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, sorry, I can't do anything Thursday night. Like I'm gonna be out, shooting pictures. So like any chance I get, I'm basically trying to do something to improve on it. And that's also the other thing, like baseball, you can always work on something every day. Like in the season, you're always working on something. And like if you take a look at the photos I've taken, my first photo, it was not atrocious, but you learn something every time you take a different one, and you learn a new skill, or you learn what you did wrong, and then you do something to improve it for the next time. And so that's also the appeal to why I do it.
So what do you post your pictures?
I haven't posted a lot of the pictures that I have. Like
Why?
I, so here, so let me explain this to you. I went to college and I have a degree in communications, and in that I did a lot of projects where like I shot, edited, and like directed my own films, kind of thing. It wasn't anything major. It was like 10-minute like documentary type stuff. But
Right.
I learned a lot of skills about like being creative in media and that type of stuff. And so I want to be proud of the work that I put out. I want to be proud of the videos that I put out. Like during COVID, I did YouTube because I needed a hobby, and I only put out things that I was proud of and that I would be proud for other people to see. And so when I take a photo and it doesn't really turn out to the way that like I'm proud of it, then I keep it to myself basically. And so like the pictures that I post, it's like, oh, I'm proud of these.
Yeah.
So
Dang it, that's cool. I want to see some photos though.
I can send you some. I know that was like one of the first things because I just got out of rehab, and I remember showing you the photos, and you were so into it. You're like, dude, these are sick. Like it's such a niche thing. Like once you find the group of people that do these types of things, like I think it's the same for every hobby. Once you find the people that share the passion for it, then you draw to those people. And there's some communities and groups that I'm a part of, and it's like we all share the same interests, and so it makes it really fun to do.
Let's talk about those people because that's where again, like where the compatibility, like relatability, the desire to relate despite your differences, like interests me.
Well,
So
like people come from all sorts of backgrounds. Like I follow a bunch of people like that don't even speak English on Twitter, and it's like they're posting these photos, and I'm like, wow, this is sick. How did you do it? Like, I want to learn from these people. I want to learn what you use, like all these things. But it's all about learning from other people. And like, I had a chat with my mom the other day, and it was like, we're always learning. That's our like only goal in life. That's like our only purpose. You want to learn in life. Otherwise, if you're not learning, you're not moving forward. And so I don't know. It's just one big metaphor, I guess. Maybe I'm stretching it. I don't know, but that's the way I see it.
no way. No, for sure. That's awesome. This is exactly what I aspire to be around regarding like thinking outside the box and like just having this creative ideas and thoughts. Um,
Mm.
Albert Einstein, the day you stop learning, the day you die, whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that. So like
Um,
we're always trying to learn. Never losing. Always learning.
People said I'm crazy for that.
No, man. That's not what I believe. I'm a hard believer in no losses, only lessons. Because guess what? If I give up a home run, that's not a loss. I'm going to learn not to throw that pitch. I'm going to learn to throw something else, throw it in a different location. That's right. Only learning. So,
Okay, so for me, wanting to relate to you because I can't speak on baseball like that.
mm.
Um, did you always know you're gonna be like that good at baseball? Because like you say,
No,
you only put yourself out there for good product, whatever, and like a good pitcher. But like putting yourself out there to play a sport, knowing that you got to be a certain good to play at your level, kind of crazy.
see, like that's the thing. In high school, it was like I had the talent, but I never worked hard. Like if I hit the gym like I do now, and if I had the work ethic that I had back in high school, it would have been my life basically would have changed, I would think. But
Yeah,
again, we'll never know that. Um, but no, I didn't know what I wanted to do with sports. Like I liked doing sports, but I tried basketball. My whole family is into basketball. Like dad, grandpa, uncles, all basketball, sister basketball.
love them
I just
already.
but I couldn't get into it. Like my sister,
What?
she
What?
was really good at basketball. Yeah. I did all the camps, all these things in
Let's
basketball,
go.
and I just never got the hang of it. I got brick hands, man. And so like that was something I just couldn't be good at. So I'm like, hey, I need to find something I'm good at. And eventually it turned into baseball. And the reason like I think I got good at a young age was my dad every day after you come. So here's the thing. My dad is my biggest idol, biggest supporter, I
First name.
that's
We should get a shout out to Dad. What's Dad's name?
yeah. My dad's name's Gord. You know,
Gord.
Gord, Gord, and
Gord. Shout out
yeah,
Gord.
I don't know if he's watching this, but yeah, man. Every day he would come home from work. He would get up at 5:30, go work at the welding shop for 11 hours, and come home and play catch with me in the front yard. Catch on a bucket. Catch like he bought catcher's gear just so he could catch me in the front yard when I started throwing a little bit harder. He didn't want to get blown up, but he was dedicated, and he didn't care that I was ripping the front lawn up with my cleats. It was like, hey, you want to go pitch? Let's go. It didn't matter how tired he was. He was like,
He
hey, you
was
want me
all
to
in.
throw? He was totally bought in, and so he's like, hey, you want me to throw 16 rounds of BP? Sure, let's go do it. Let's see how many home runs you can hit. And so it was like that type of thing that like encouraged me to continue pursuing baseball, and like it just led into me. I don't know if it led into me being talented or what, but I was decent in high school. I played on Team Canada, played against some minor league guys. Like I had that experience, and then I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to go to Hawaii, where I had my first major surgery my freshman year, and that was like I felt like it set me back 5 years because I came out of surgery throwing, I don't know, 83, and at the D1 level, that's not going to cut it. And I don't know if you saw the video I posted on my Instagram, but the first bullpen after my surgery was just horrendous. Like I looked so bad, I looked so uncomfortable, and it was like this kid's never going to play baseball again. And this kid's, this surgery just rocked him. And then I got with, I started doing a program, and it just unlocked everything again, and I became who I am. So.
Damn. So your dad, your environment supported you. So Big Gord, like
Mhm.
he was all in regarding it's like, what do you need to succeed?
Yeah, he would drive me to he would leave work 2 hours early just so he could drive me to my games. He would coach me. He coached me up until I was 15, I'd say. Um, he would travel with me to Vancouver Island, like take the ferry with me, stay the night, buy the hotel, all these things. Like my dad was completely bought in on if this is what you want to do, like I'm gonna give you the resources to do it. And he still does that today. Like and in an emotional way, like I'm going to give you the resources that you need in order to succeed in the minor leagues.
And okay, so with baseball being your choice because your family's talented and like, basketball wasn't your thing, but
Mm.
you were set on baseball, your desire to get better. What was that like? Because baseball is just a sport.
I think I remember the specific moment actually. There was a moment in college after my surgery, and where I was kind of figuring myself out. Now, I said to myself, and I looked myself in the mirror. I was like, "Okay, we need to make a decision if this is going to become your life. Because if it's going to become your life, that's what it's going to be. And you are not going to. You're going to go to class, and you're going to do baseball. That is it. You're not going to have any girlfriends. You're not going to do anything else. And this is going to become your life, and you're going to get better at it." And it was a decision I had to make with myself. And honestly, man, it was the best decision I could have made because I jumped from like 89 in the fall, in like October of 2019, to my first pitch in January was 93. And I've never thrown harder than 90. And so dedicating myself in that, off season of college ball was just like the best thing I ever could have done.
Seeing the results, obviously results driven, like seeing the progress, the transformation in a sense of being like a amateur high school player to a professional athlete.
Mhm.
Unreal, huh?
Well, like, and in high school, like with Team Canada, I'd say I got that experience of like seeing what the minor leaguer looks like because we played against the Atlanta Braves and the Orioles down in Florida. Like I pitched against the Braves, and it was like, hey, like this is the physicality of these players. And mind you, that was in high school, and so I was like, hey, like if you want to get drafted, if you want to play pro ball, like these guys are men. They're
Yeah.
not messing around. And I mean, what year was it? It was one year I think I was in rehab, and one of the new draft guys gets a locker like near mine. He walks by and he's like, "Please tell me you're not a high school kid." And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No, no, no. Don't worry. I'm a college guy." I'm like, "This is my
Competition.
third year. This is my third year in pro ball. Like, don't worry. I'm not 19." But like, that's the physicality of ball players now. And I was having a
Yeah.
conversation with one of the guys at the field. And it's like, what's the difference between Canadian ball players and guys in Texas and Florida and California? And it's like they play baseball all year round outside. And up here in Canada, like our season doesn't start till like March, April-ish, just because it's so cold and like the snow and stuff and the weather. But those guys are outside all year. And so it's no wonder that you have these high school kids in Texas and California that are throwing 100, that are like hitting 600. Like, yeah, it makes sense,
Yeah,
when you think about it.
yeah, that is a good comparison there regarding the differences in the places you live at. You're in
Mhm.
Canada right now.
Yeah, Canada. It's piss and rain. It's coming down.
Is it cold? So it's cold? What's going on in the weather there? I'm in 75. I'm good. Cali.
Yeah, I wish I was in 75. No, it's to the point where it's like if it's sunny, I'm throwing outside. Like that's all I care about. It doesn't matter how cold it is. No, it snowed last week for one day, and that's it. But honestly, it hasn't been too cold, so I'm not really complaining yet. I'm knocking on wood.
What's your community like? Is it like Lake Elsinore?
Oh God, dude, you want to talk about the community? You want to talk about
Yeah.
Abbotsford? Okay, my
Well,
town,
and
my
mind you, I'm from
town.
San Diego, so I'm from San Diego. We talk about San Diego. We talk about Lake Elsinore or Marietta, Temecula. But I want to know how Canada is like.
So like the way I describe it, when people ask me where I'm from, I say Vancouver just because it's easier. But like I'm from an hour east of Vancouver, so it takes a while. Like you fly into YVR into the Vancouver airport, and you drive an hour east, then you get to where I live. But
What?
it's a smaller town, and there's not, you go to the mall. We went to the mall one time, me and my girlfriend, and I was like, hey, I'll bet you $10 we run into somebody we know. Ran into my cousin and two people she knew. So it's
What?
like
Your
it's
cousin?
like that. It's like that type of thing. You run into people you know everywhere. So it's just it's that type of town. Um, there's not a whole lot. Like we don't have a Chipotle. The closest Chipotle is like 50 minutes away. So you're not having Chipotle. You
50
got these
minutes
off,
away?
yeah. So you're having these off-brand. It's called Mucho Burrito. That's the place that's down the road. Mucho Burrito is the bootleg Chipotle. That if you
No.
want to,
Hey, shout out Mucho Burrito. Shout out.
no, dude, Chipotle's way better. Mucho Burrito does not cut it. But like that,
Really?
that's the thing. When I'm home, I never eat out. It's
Okay.
only ever cooking at home because there's nothing to eat out with besides McDonald's or Wendy's. So that is the
Wow.
only. That's the one positive of being here. One big positive.
It kind of puts you in a situation where you force yourself to kind of get better at that.
Oh, 100%. It made me cook. It's like, okay, we don't, because it's really easy in the season. Like, okay, I'm just going to eat out. Like, I'll just order food. Because one, you don't have time, and two, it's just easier. But like now, I have the time. I don't really want to eat crap food, and so it's like, hey, let's cook your meals. So
That sounds like fun. I like that. Some meal prep and all that.
I did meal prep last year, and I lost a lot of weight last year. So I tried to be like super healthy. Like I was like, I'm gonna look good. I'm gonna be ripped. I'm gonna
You're jacked.
see. But the thing is, when I lose weight, I throw less. I throw slower. And so in my off season last year, I was like 85 to 87 in bullpens, and I'm like, I'm I'm not hurt. What is going on with me? And so got to spring training, and I was like 90, 91, and I'm like, okay, like this isn't good. And then fast forward a few months, like I put on, I don't know, I think to like 10 pounds or something, and my velo jumped up. So it's literally just about me keeping on weight. So it's not so much like trying to be looking good. It's more like what can I do to feel good and perform the best, basically.
I've seen a lot of changes in minor league baseball as far as like the supports of the affiliates, the support of the big league teams. Food is a big topic, I would say, as far as the biggest improvement. Um, before you even played professional baseball, you heard about the stories of like $50 a day for the pregame spread, and guys were on their own for after the games, or if they were getting the food, it was something that you won't feel too comfortable eating.
Mm.
Take us maybe. How would you explain the food portion in your pro ball from this upcoming season?
Well, I mean, okay. First of all, you did a fantastic job with the food last year. I know clubbies are, you, Swirly, and all of the other clubbies are tasked with dealing with the food situations for these 35 guys. And I just want to commend all the clubhouse attendants who do such a good job at that because it's not easy, and I know that. Um, but I think this year was probably the best year that I've had for food at all the affiliates. And I think with the addition of like having nutritionists and people to guide on the food has only increased the like quality of the food basically. Because like in 2021, it was like COVID was just ending. I was in Fort Wayne, and Swirly did the best that he could. And it was like these prepackaged meal, like the portions were tiny. Like his hands were tied basically, and it was not really what I expected. And it was a step above from what it was previously, but um, last year was just, I thought it was solid all around.
I mean, okay, so I've been in minor league baseball for 13 years now, right? 13
Mm,
years. And in 20, and that's like nothing compared to like my world that like of people who came before me who've done it for like 20 years.
and then you
And
got the guys who 30 years and so
oh
on.
god, it's gross, man, because like it's
Mm,
a very nostalgic game itself. Like baseball is so nostalgic, whatever.
mm,
And it's like now we're in 2023 and things are like catching up to us as far as like, the expectations from a business standpoint.
mm.
Um, I'm proud that I've been in the industry in a sense to kind of see like how far they're coming in different ways that the average person or fan sees. And like the behind the scenes aspect of it is probably the most like for me eye opening as far as
Mm.
like what's really essential, you know, and
Yeah,
like how we take care of the program or how we support the athletes. In my mind, is essential as it gets. You
yeah,
know,
and I mean, and like we appreciate, when we finish a game and it's Saturday or Sunday during the day, and it's like you're exhausted and you're just tired from the week, and then you have, I'm not, and this isn't a specific scenario, but you get off the field and you're like, you got this, you know, cruddy meal, and you're like, frick, man, this is just not, this isn't it. It's demoralizing, and I'm a big believer in like food brings people together, and I think you are too. I think you'd agree with that. Um, and so when you get off the field and it's like a good meal and you're like excited to eat it, like it just makes everything better.
yeah. I mean, I don't remember any of the games, and I kind of like coming from baseball and actually selling the product itself in the front office capacity. We're always told to like not sell, the fans remembering like the score, but
Mm,
like remembering like that feeling, that experience, right? That they get from the game.
mm,
We as the players and the guys who are actually on the inside of the game have something similar with that as far as like why we show up, because
mm,
I don't really remember the games in a sense, but like after the games when we get together and talk and laugh, the camaraderie, the relationship building aspect of it, that's real, man. And I know those nights, and I'm thankful for our time, man, because you have a lot of good things that you bring to the table as far as being a good teammate, a good human being, and I know the teams that you're on benefited from that. So it's awesome to be around you, man.
I mean, I try to, and like I said before, you're always learning, and so like I learned something from you, I learned something from my teammates, and I learned I you're all, oh, it's always learning, and so um, the times that we spent together in Lakey was, I'll always remember that. Like you're not going to remember January's 13th game what the score was, but you're going to remember sitting in the locker room chit chatting with your boys about this problem that was so big in the moment, and I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. Was so big in the moment, but then afterwards it was like, you know what, that was really cool just to sit and chat with the homies. And I know like back in the day it was like, oh, you sit down, you crack a couple beers in the clubhouse, and I don't think that's how we really do things now. Um, but it's like those memories that you're going to remember besides like the score or like what happened or if you gave up however many runs, like you're not really going to remember that. And I
Mm.
think, and on that line, like I think this past year, I like thought a lot about, because I'm 25 now, like I see a lot of my friends, what they're doing in their lives. And I think about like what my life would be outside of baseball. And I think once I'm done baseball, the one thing I'm really going to miss is that clubhouse stuff and like hanging out with the guys and going to the clubhouse every day. And, in the moment, you might be in the end of August and you're like, frick, I got to go to the club. Like, why we got to be there at 2 o'clock, But when you're working a 9 to 5 job somewhere and you're just wishing that you could go back to it, like in the moment you don't realize it, but then afterwards you're like, wow, I would do anything to go back to it. And that's kind of how I feel about college. Like I wish I took more advantage of that.
That's real life. I mean, I'm actually going through it myself, transitioning. I'm like, am I going to go back in baseball? Do I want to pursue a regular career? I'm 38, so and I got a lot of responsibilities that any adult would have, and you put that financial hat on, or you put your financial heart on,
Mhm.
and I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling to break away from something that I love to do, and I feel is very valuable, or just going and pursuing a job that I can make a lot of money at.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too. I like I'm thinking of it as like you play 13 years in baseball and then you get out of baseball and you're like, well, what do I do? Like that baseball's kind of all you knew, whether it be playing or, working in clubhouses or any other job in baseball. Like I understand where you're coming from. And I feel like everybody who gets out of a sport after that amount of time, like they all feel the same way. So like I don't think you're alone in feeling that.
It's tight. I mean, it's a bittersweet feeling because like at the end of the day, like it's a choice, and that's the privilege in it because it's still a sport, right? That we're working in and providing this entertainment for our, people interested. So like looking at whether direction you're looking at it, from whatever perspective, it's just a super blessed opportunity, right? And
Yeah.
I've been saying beyond blessed lately. Like I'm beyond blessed.
Yeah. Well, like I'm watching what show? Ted Lasso right now. I,
Oh
I
my god.
I'm like rewatching it all over again. And man, that show just hits everything. There's always I think it's so good. All the lessons in it.
It's hard to watch for me, man. I'm like, man, it's too relatable. I feel like.
Honestly, sometimes, yeah, it's like, wow, this like, when you're like kind of thinking to yourself, you're like, there's no way like this moment in the universe, I'm supposed to be watching this or doing this thing. Like sometimes it's like, wow, this is kind of hitting way too close. I kind of had one of those moments today.
Oh my god, I've had that moment. I know that feeling. It's a realization of how again blessed we are to be in our situations that we're at.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so what else? Last year I know you mentioned something about your involvement with the minor league baseball players association. Is that
Mhm.
is that right?
Yeah. So I don't like people might not know this, but I'm the minor league rep for the Padres. So I deal with the minor league side for the Padres, and um, I deal with all the problems that might come up if somebody has an issue or if they have a question. They reach out to me, and if I can, I try to answer the best I can, and if I can't, then I direct them in the right direction.
How do you stumble across that responsibility?
It goes back to rehab again. You have a lot of time on your hands in rehab, so you find things to fill the time with. But I was in rehab, and there's a thing called advocates for minor leaguers, and I knew about it, and I was like, I'll join a Zoom call one of these times. Like, I'll see what they have to say. And I joined, and I was like, okay, like I like what they're doing. Like, I think this can make a difference. And I just kept joining the calls, and finally they're like, hey, we got nobody for the Padres. Like, that kind of is someone we can talk to in the Padres organization. Like, do you want to be that guy? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then when the union cards came out, we had a vote right after, and it was like I guess they voted me in, and so I took the responsibility.
Nice. And how's that? Is that like a year-to-year thing or something that you have to continue to like participate in X amount of hours?
So I'm not sure how the re-elections work. I don't know if it's re-elections every year or every 2 years, whatnot. Um, but I mean, from the guys that I've talked to, they're like, yeah, we're okay with you doing it. Like, go for it. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna do it as long as they want me to do it, and I'm happy. I like solving problems, and I like having an impact on other people. And with the recent changes in the CBA for the minor league side, like I think life has improved tenfold. And it's really cool to say that I was a part of the first ever minor league bargaining agreement for the minor league side. Like that's a really cool thing to say because like I think the major league side first bargained in like the '60s, and so we got a little history lesson on that, and we learned what they went through and what they argued and all their points, and um, those are the guys that set the foundation for the guys that make the money today. And so the minor leagues, this is our first CBA, and hopefully it just progresses every year. That's all I can leave it better than you found it. That was our motto.
I love it, dude. I'm so pumped and fired up for this our conversation and this your involvement in the game. Like again, like there's a respect factor for what we do. It's a grind. Minor league baseball is not for everybody. From any aspect as far as the fans that attend. Because would you agree that going to a major league baseball game and a minor league baseball game is completely different?
I would say so. I think there's a more intimate feeling when you go to a minor league game. Um, I mean, I've never played in a big league game, so I can't say from that side. But some of the stadiums you go to in the minor leagues, you're like, holy, you are right in my ear. Like, I'm hearing every word you're saying. Um, so I mean, on that aspect, yes. Um, and I think it's just cool. Like some of the stadiums we go to, like in high A, I thought the stadiums are really cool. Like we would go to the Dodgers place, and in the playoffs, like you got thousands of people, and even though it's a road stadium, like the environments are so cool. And that's also something I'm never going to forget. Like in my time in baseball, it's just the fans that I've played in front of, and the people that have cheered me on, booed me, yelled at me, all these things. Like I'll never forget it. It's so cool.
Well, seeing it from both sides, from a fan's perspective, it's a good opportunity if you like baseball to latch on to a young athlete or maybe like a young organization that is building something from the ground up. Because again, working in minor league baseball, I've been fortunate to be a part of your guys' path. And talk about some other fellow Canadians. And I've got the Josh Naylors, the Cal
Mhm.
Quantrells, and those are some of the few guys I can mention now. The Chris Passones that I
Mhm.
personally can say that I worked with in minor league baseball that have gone on to the major league levels. But can we, can share a little bit of their real like joy of what the grind is.
Mhm.
And the grind is something that minor league baseball players and fans relate on, because life is a grind, and
Yeah,
we're all
you know,
going through it.
I mean, I see it from both sides. Like I'm very blessed to play a game. I play a game for a living. That's what it comes down to, and I realize that, and I'm self aware of that. Um, but on the other hand, it's like it's going to be August. Like this happened this year. It was August, and Craig Stammen walks into the locker room, and he gives a speech about how, it's August. You gotta everybody's tired. Like the main lesson was like keep pushing, finish strong. Nobody remembers how you started. Everybody remembers how you finish, and that really stuck with me. And I might play a game for a living, but it's also every single day for 6 months straight, 7 months straight, missing birthdays, missing anniversaries, all this stuff. Like there's a lot of things that baseball players like. Oh, I shouldn't say baseball players, but athletes sacrifice in general in order to pursue their dreams. And I think anybody who's going to pursue their dreams has to make sacrifices.
Pursuing your dreams have sacrifices needed for sure, and that's
Mhm.
something I want to write down, because whether you're a little boy or a little girl or an older person or a younger person, like pursuing a dream should be maybe a priority in a sense,
Mhm.
because
There's just a lot that comes with pursuing dreams, and I think the more conscious you are of the things that entail, the better off you'll be. Because I didn't have anybody to tell me what it was going to be like to like live, breathe, eat, sleep baseball. Like it was a big shock for me, and but then once you get used to it, it's just is what it is. And so when I'm sure almost every baseball player would say the same thing, when you have a chance to give back to like high school kids or give somebody some advice, and they might take one word that you say, but it might affect how they go about their business in the gym. Like that's super cool. Like I had a kid catch me the other day. He caught a bullpen. He was in grade 10. We say grade 10 in Canada. We don't say 10th grade. But he's in grade 10, and he's catching me, and the coach that told me about him, that told him to catch, was like, yeah, he's pretty solid. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like I love throwing a catch. I would rather have a catcher than throw into a tee. So he gets down on the crouch, and I throw my first pitch, and it's like 89 miles an hour, whatever. But that's the fastest he's ever caught, right? He's a 10th grader. Like he doesn't, and the pitching isn't great in Canada. Like it's not 90, and he's catching me. He was nails, man. Like and I said to him after, I was like, dude, like don't quit this. Like you have some talent. Just keep working at it. Like you can catch me anytime you want. And if that's going to make you better, then so be it. And like the look on his face was so cool. He was like, holy, this minor leaguer was saying how like I'm good at catching. Like, and I was good at catching. I'm like, it was really cool. And he did awesome, So like, it's like that when you say something to a younger kid and they look up to you, which means a lot.
well, I'm glad that's another thing we connect on, because um, I know we are talking earlier about what we're up to, and some of the stuff that I've been up to as of lately, as far as the Serve First movement and the nonprofit Strike Out for a Cause, has been preparing us for the opportunity to give back in our own way, using the connections and the resources that we have, in our community. And Carter, yourself is one of those players and leaders that I consider part of our community that would love to give back to these underserved communities where we can provide, I feel essential maybe experiences that maybe uplift others to remind them to pursue their dreams and give them whatever types of advice that works for yourself to give to others. And we're gonna be doing some camps. All right. Long
Yeah,
story short, we're doing camps,
I'm
and
with it.
these camps, dude, are different. We have a curriculum in place, and it's in a classroom setting. So
Okay.
there's things that I've been keeping notes of when you guys talk to me and tell me what works for you guys, and we're cutting it all up. We're putting it on paper. We're gonna go to print with it pretty soon here, and this curriculum is something that we're gonna offer to kids in underserved communities, so we can go get back in our own way and serve in our own way. Because whether you become a professional baseball player or you join your high school team, it's about uplifting others and giving the confidence of the build confidence of here's some resources that work for us, and
Mhm.
we hope it works for you, and you become your own success story in a sense.
Well, that's really cool because you have the opportunity to talk to all these guys, like these pro guys, and you have all these connections, and you're like the bridge to getting that. And like these guys, like you have such a good relationship with so many people, and these people are so giving that they give you this information, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like this is what I did," and they're so voluntarily excited about what they do, and then you pass that down to people who might not have access to that, who might be, hitting balls off a tire. Like it's really cool that these kids get to hear what these pro guys think, and I think that's wicked.
Come on, man. Like, don't you? I mean, I remember the first time I met like a celebrity or a professional athlete, and not to say anything that's too crazy out here, but you're considered one of those professional athletes, and it's gonna be cool because I'm sure you remember the first pro guy you met, and
Yeah. I got a funny story about that.
tell me, please.
So the town that I'm from, I'm sure anyone who's listening to this, knows Eric Sim, King of JUCO. And King of JUCO he went to my high school. We had the same coach growing up, and he's a few years older than me, so we never played together. But Eric Sim was the man in the town, and it's like during the off season, Eric Sim would come back, and it's like, oh, this guy's pro, like he's legit. And I remember like we were almost intimidated by him, because it's like, oh, he's pro. And I remember saying to somebody at the field the other day, I was like, I want the kids to be able to come up to me because I never went up to Eric and like asked him like, hey, like, how do you handle a pitcher or yada yada. I never did that just because I didn't feel like it was my place. But I never want kids that when I'm around the facility, doing my catch play or throwing a bullpen, like I want kids to be open to come up to me and be like, hey, like, how do you hold your slider? How do you envision this pitch moving? Like, I want to invite those conversations because I wish I could have done. I wish I felt comfortable enough to doing that. So that's something I'm working on.
Good, because that's something we're practicing every day, getting better about sharing our why, our truth, to help others. Because leaders create leaders, as you know, and you're a great leader in TT's Clubhouse for sure, Carter.
I love that. I'm honored for the relationship that we built and the talks that we've had, and just everything.
You're a beast. I've always in my mind seen you as this Hawaiian, guy because of your connections with obviously playing at the University of Hawaii. Um, but your infectious love and gratitude and humbleness from Canada bleeds through, man. And I'm definitely proud to have crossed paths with you, Carter, man. I'm excited for the future, and I'm thankful to be able to work with you and collaborate on opportunities to get back in our own way.
Absolutely. You got my number. You hit me up anytime, and I'm here for you. I'm here as a resource for you.
Well, we have a lot to catch up on here in a couple months or so or weeks because spring training is not too far away, and I have some events coming up there. I believe at Top Golf. There's a one in
Like
Scottsdale.
like in Arizona.
Yeah, in Scottsdale. We're
Oh,
gonna do something in Scottsdale.
sick.
Um,
I'm with
it's
it.
gonna be. We'll pick a charity of our choice. Something low key, high key, low key that for one brings people together. Two provides experiences for people that appreciate what we do and how we do it, and three just having fun, man.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Yeah, because like, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen next year where I'm gonna land, but like that would be cool to get that done in Arizona because I know a lot of the Padres guys would probably be into that and would want to help.
Okay, well, let's talk in a couple of weeks or something. Get you back on, and maybe we can ask some more questions about what's next for Carter, because I want to be again on your plan, on your path as well. So
Yeah.
we'll talk soon.
Sounds good, bro.
All right. Well, let's say goodbye. How about that together? We'll say goodbye. Nolan in the back. Thank you, Nolan, for all your help back there engineering this the show and getting us on Instagram. Thank you. And we're taking a Christmas break, Carter. I think we're Christmas break, so no Christmas show next week, Monday. Happy holidays to everybody.
Happy
And
holidays to you and your family.
Well, thank you. And yeah, I think we're gonna have the next guy be on. I think it'll be James Wood. Remember that guy, James Wood?
Yeah, I remember him. I never played with him, but I remember him.
You know that? Did you ever play with him?
No, never got a chance to.
Not yet. I'm gonna see that matchup. I'm gonna see that matchup.
Not yet. Maybe one day, man. You never know.
You never know. Well, let's say goodbye. We're out of here. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Carter, love you, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, TT. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, doggy. Good night. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have fun. Share this, like this, tell your friends. Let's have some fun.